We will be starting our session in like 2 minutes.
Okay.
We'll wait for everyone to join and we'll start in 2 minutes. I think we can start.
Okay.
Okay, recording has already started. Okay. Yeah. First of all, I would like to welcome all our attendees for attending this particular event. This event, which is on the ethics in cybersecurity, the role of ethics in cybersecurity. I think it becomes really important for us to have this discussion and this lecture because today in the field of cybersecurity, we know that by default, it's very easy for students especially to get into unethical practices and to use technology as a tool in the name of cybersecurity to get into a lot of unethical domains. So what is the role of ethics in cybersecurity? What are the ethical principles that we need to follow? As engineering students, what do engineering students need to learn about ethics, and also practically why should they even practice ethics? These are certain questions that will be addressed today, and we'll be getting more knowledge about the domain of ethics in cybersecurity today. So today we have with us an expert in this particular domain, Mrs. Padmapriya Venkatesh. She is there with us. She is a professor of cybersecurity at BMS College of Engineering and at the MCA department. She has been doing a lot of research in the area of cybersecurity and also drones and drone technology and its applicability in various sectors. And it is really nice to now get to know more about the kind of research. I would recommend all the attendees to take a look at the research that she has done in these areas. Today she'll be sharing with us her wisdom in this particular domain and her insights. In the beginning, I would just like to, request the attendees to write their questions in the question and answer box so that we can address this at the end of the session. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sanjana. It was really good introduction. Very nice about joining this kind of initiative. Right. I'll now start sharing my screen. Hope it is visible to you.
Yes, it is.
Thank you. So at the outset, yes, cybersecurity is one of the prominent things that is there around us, right? And all these have come because of digital world, right? And ethics is part of our culture. When we come to India, ethics is one of the biggest thing which we have, right? And we promote ethics from the childhood. Right. So with this thought in mind, cybersecurity deals with something in digital world where people may think many unethical things generally happen and many are targeted in this area. So to talk about ethics in this area, it's quite challenging, but I would like to throw a small light in this area of bringing in the concept of ethics in cybersecurity. So this is me. I'm Padmapriya. I work as assistant professor in the Department of Computer Applications at BMSCE. As Sanjana madam introduced me, I have done little amount of research in the areas of vehicular ad hoc networks. That's my actual research topic. I've also worked on drone related area and little on cybersecurity. But that little is because of the big ocean it is, right? So I have one patent filed in my name with my mentor in the area of research, right? And that is completely on vehicular ad hoc network. And my research topic is also security issues in vehicular ad hoc network. Other than this, I have been very actively participating in IEEE, and I have been chairing WI, Women in Engineering section at BMSCE. This is a small introduction about myself. I've been very passionate in teaching. This is around 20 years now. I've been teaching. I've been in the teaching profession. This is a small introduction about myself. Now I will move on to his agenda. First, I would like to throw light on real world use cases. We have been hearing a lot of stuff about cyber attacks, right? Digital world, how cyber security is taking over, ethics in this area, what actually ethics is. And we will slowly move on to hacking, and a small introduction to ethical hacking, and how do we inculcate the concept of ethics in ethical hacking. So we will discuss on some of the breaches of data and information as a use case, which we have seen in the digital world. So one of the news which came in 2018 was something related to Aadhaar system. In early 2018, there was a news which told that 1.1 billion Indian citizens name, address, photo, and all the personal details, including the biometric details, iris scan, was hacked, right? So there was this information was exposed, and the story tells that only 418 rupees was charged for 10 minutes, and you will be able to access billions of users' Aadhaar details, which is supposed to be most, biggest, largest system, which has largest repository of personal data, right? This was published in editorial, which is Turbine, which is called Turbine, in Jan 2018, right? And it brought in our UIDAI system into a halt, sort of a thing. This article was written by Mr. Rachna Khairu, who was a journalist at this place, and found that millions of data was sold through WhatsApp, and all these things happened in 10 minutes. Now, this is a big exposure that was done by this Tribune editorial. Now, what did people say about this, right? Sanjay Jindal, who was Additional Director General of UIDAI Regional Center in Chandigarh, told that except the Director General and himself, no other third person in Punjab should be able to log in and access the official portal of Aadhaar system. And anybody else having access to this Aadhaar system is supposed to be illegal, and it is a major threat to national security. That is what his view was. There is also a view from Mr. Prashant Mali, who is a lawyer at Bombay High Court, and he's also a cyber policy expert, who told that, I feel principles of natural justice should have been followed when the decision to file an FIR was taken. That means FIR was supposed to be filed, and it was filed. And he says that no, there were many other things we could have held this, right? And people were booked under IPC section 225, is punishment for cheating, and 238 was cheating, 225 was on impersonation, and 533 is on forgery, and all these things. This was a big threat to Indian Aadhaar system in 2018. Next was the famous LinkedIn case. This happened twice. 2012, 6.5 million unassociated passwords were stolen, and it was supposed to be from a Russian hacker forum. That is what they said. And 2016, full extent this incident was revealed to people, and they found that these were sold for few bitcoins, right? LinkedIn further acknowledged that it has made people aware about the breach, and many passwords were set off, right? That means they were reset, users were informed about this. This happened in 2012. Next, in 2021, same thing repeated, right? Once again, 700 millions of users' information was found in dark. That was in June 2021, and it was completely taken. More than 90% of user information was shared, and the hacker went with the name of God user, right? He started bringing out the data. LinkedIn argue once again said that no, there is no sensitive information, personal data that was exposed. It is just a violation of terms and services. Now, what happened here is an attack. Once again, social engineering was done. It was posted. He himself posted as God user. Actually, what LinkedIn told was no personal sensitive information was sold, but email addresses, phone numbers, geolocation, gender, and other social media details of users were exposed in this case. Moving on, we also have debit card and credit card frauds, and Adobe was the one which was affected in 2013. 3 million encrypted customers' credit card details were recorded, and they were all active users, right? And this was another big breach that happened, and a lot of passwords, hash passwords, everything was taken away from the system. Adobe understood this, right? And it had to pay a 1.1 million legal fees for doing this, right? For a person who was user information was not known. All these use cases represent something like a breach of data, and it is a threat on the security system. This is one of the best, these are some of the best examples of cyber attacks. So what are the lessons we have learned in this is, yes, there's a data breach, private information was sold, untrusted people use this, sensitive and confidential information were thrown out, right? Then it is a crime. There were people who lost money, who lost many personal information, which was not to be available in a public domain. And probably many of these were done because of the weak password, or they did not think much in this direction. So is digital world a boon or bane to us? We have been using a lot of digital media. It could be through desktop, laptops, or any other kind of digital devices. We use various networks, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, a combination of networks. We use public network, generally in airports, railway stations, bus stands, all these places where there is a free network. And youngsters today are more attracted towards free networks in malls, right, and gaming zones, entertainment centers. And these are the places where the actual hacking may start, right? This is one of the places. So digital world is actually an entrance to this, because this cannot happen to a physical world, right? So it is something like you open your door, right, house door, but it is actually safeguarded by a lock, right? If that is there, then you feel that lock is safe. Now, if you are having a digital lock, which is controlled by your mobile phone, right, and the password can be keyed in, and you are doing it remotely, that means that your data is actually sent out in a domain, though it looks private, but still these traces are left in the public domain. We need to be careful. I did not mean to say that we should not use digital system. We should be very careful when we are using this digital system. Moving on, when we talk about security in this digital world, what did people talk about cybersecurity as such? That means cyber is the world, right? The digital world we are talking about, the world over the internet with lot of devices is called cyber world or cyberspace. We are talking about security on this cyberspace. Now, Cisco says that cybersecurity is the practice of protecting systems, not only systems, but also networks and also programs for digital attacks. So it's a complete security of the overall digital world, right? The cybersecurity are usually aimed, that is, the attacks which happen on this cybersecurity system are usually aimed to hack or take away your personal information, sensitive information, change them, destroy them, access them for some financial benefit or any other personal vendetta. Implementing effective cybersecurity measures is particularly challenging today because there are many people, many devices, and even the attackers, people who attack on this kind of cyber system are becoming more innovative. They are learning, they've understood the trade of attacking. Cybersecurity, according to IBM, is the practice of protecting critical system and sensitive information from digital attacks. Now, it is also known as information technology security. It is called IT security. So, which is designed to combat the threats that happens on a network system and the applications that are running on this. And it is found many a times that this attack can either happen from inside an organization or it can also happen from an outsider of an organization. TechTarget, which is also a very popular technical online platform, tells cybersecurity is the protection of internet connected systems like hardware, software, and the data that comes on the cyber environment. The practice is used by individuals and enterprise to protect against unauthorized access to the data centers and other computerized systems. So overall, cybersecurity is protecting not only systems, networks, program, but also the data that comes in. So networks means also includes all the devices on the network, routers, hubs, bridge, gateways, all of them, right? And several hardware devices which are part of the system, and the software, the applications that are running, and importantly, the data which is available in the digital world. Okay, why is cybersecurity important for us? As it is known that number of users, number of devices, number of programs have increased. Many users are now moving on to various devices, right? I'm sure a house probably now has a Wi-Fi connected desktops, laptops, mobile phones, not less than 7, right? If there are 4 people, probably there is double, 2 per person, 7 to 8 devices. Now, these devices are having number of users. They may use different kinds of programs, different kinds of network. So there is a need to secure this kind of a system. We also have a lot of household appliances. For example, there could be washing machine, which is a smart washing machine, refrigerator, which is a smart refrigerator, and a dishwasher is also smart. All of them are connected to your mobile phones, your devices. Now, all of them are also need to be protected because they are in turn connected to your own devices. This is one. And there is a huge breakout of data, right? Many people are generating data. It is accumulated and used largely, and most of this data will contain sensitive and confidential information. If we talk about data, there is personal data. If you visit a hospital, right, your data is now printed as or taken in as electronic health record, EHR. So that is the data that is recorded there. You go to a doctor, he may prescribe a medicine. You go to pharmacy, you will give your mobile number. Once again, your data gets recorded there. If doctor prescribes you to go for some pathological tests, then you go to a pathological laboratory or you call them to your house. Once again, your data is exposed. So like this, there is data that is generated for just a visit to a doctor. Huge amount of data is spread across the various places, and hence it is very important to secure the data which is going inside this world. And there is a huge repetitive data comes in, right? Anomaly may happen, but still there's a huge amount of data that is generated. Now, growing volume of data and the sophisticated cyber attacks are also one of the reasons why we have to protect our system. Next is, who are the stakeholders, right? Who are responsible? Who will be the one who will be influencing this, or who are the ones who will be affected by this, right? So people are generally called as users, right? All people, those who are using network, who are in the network, will be categorized as users. Some of these users may also be hackers. They are the attackers. That means people, those who place cyber attack. Right now, users will generally have data. As all of us know, whenever we log into Google, we have password, given password. And when we do a login on a desktop, same password is used, right? But there is a method to protect it, right? And when we browse through and we see an attachment in the inbox, without thinking, probably we may open, because the name is the subject line in the inbox may be very attractive for you, right? I have some of the examples where I'll talk about an example where this attachment or this kind of email has really pushed user to open the mail. Similarly, it's a responsibility of an organization also to bring in frameworks to deal with this kind of cyber attacks. I'll talk about some of my personal experience. I'll hold it for now. I'll come back and talk about this little later. Further, to combat all these things, we also need technology. Right? Technology is very essential, which gives organizations and individuals to handle this kind of tools or technologies which will protect themselves from the cyber attacks. So there could be endpoint devices like computers, smart devices, routers, network devices, hubs, bridges, gateways. There could be many which could have these kind of technology embedded into them. There could be firewalls, there could be filtering mechanism, there could be malware protection, antivirus software, or there could be email security solutions given by the email service providers. This is another thing which will help us, right? So users are responsible. Organization which has many users is also responsible. And we should also think that whether it is a user or an organization, technology has to be implemented to protect the data and avoid this kind of cybersecurity attacks. So we have a self-check question, right? I will take you to next few slides, which will talk about what kind of attacks happen in this kind of a system. On the left side, I told that there was a Gmail, which came in from a university. And it says that this email is meant to inform you that you'll have to change the password, otherwise it'll expire in 24 hours. This is a very common mail. This may come to students, this may come to faculty. Even in our college during COVID, right, when in that situation, when students were taking classes online and all of us were logging on to Zoom or Google Meet, we got a mail on one particular day. It was Friday evening telling that tomorrow all of you will have a break. There will be no classes and Google Meet will be stalled for some time. But it was coming from the principal's email address. So all of us thought to next day we may not have class. Obviously, students would have enjoyed that day, right? But we were sad as faculty. I was sad because I had to postpone my syllabus to another day, elongate it, and now I'll have to spend some extra time on this. But we found that something similar to what you're seeing here, we found that that was not the original email address which had come from principal. Right? It was a fake email address. We also got such kind of messages on WhatsApp, right, where principal's message was posted, images were posted, right, on exam postponement, fee concessions, and all of them, right? Something similar to what you are seeing here. We also have on the right, there is one email which has come for tax calculation. This generally happens when people do IT returns, right? You may get this kind of spam, right? And it says, if you want to get a refund, then click on this. Now, this is one. If you look at, there is a logo, there's some HM revenue and customs, and on the left, it is from a university. All of them will look like it is a genuine one. Probably it may not, right? So you have to go deep into this, right? And to update the password, there is one link which says myuniversity.edu/renewal, right? So you may be tempted to go, but this was on the password expiry. So they are asking you to renew it, right? At the first instance, you may feel that, yes, both of them are genuine. Next, this is what happened by a HR company, which says that your assessment structure is changed. It's a very blank email. To access your document, click on this link. Probably it's on salary raise. So when such news comes in, such email comes in, people will be tempted because it talks about a salary raise. I have not got a salary raise for many years. So, okay, probably then I'll have to look into the document. How much raise did I get? This is another thing which is pulling the interest of the user when he sees this in his inbox. Next, this is a ransomware attack that happened on hardware, right? So hard disk of your computer has been encrypted and you download, go to this place, do all these things, follow the steps and all of them. Now, this is another thing which generally happens. This is a ransomware attack, what we say, right? Now, all these screenshots which I am talking about are tempting user to take it, right? To open this kind. There could be many such spurious mails which you have not put it as spam. It is actually a legitimate one and is not a spam. So it will come to your inbox, right? That is where this attack starts, right? That is a door to this attack. Now, what are the different types of cybersecurity attacks which you have, threats which you have? One is, as I told, emails, right? This comes from an reputable sources, like known sources, but it is a fraudulent one. The aim here is to steal the sensitive data, like a credit card information, personal information. It could also be password, right? This is one of them. Or use any kind of personal information, gain something out of this. Next is ransomware. This is a type of malicious software which will block access. And if you pay a ransom, then only you will be allowed to do this, right? Get back your access to that system. So otherwise, it does not. There is no guarantee that you will get your files back, but it says that if you will have to pay this money, right? And they start extorting money from the user and blocking their access to the system. Next is what I showed is malware, right? This is a software designed to gain unauthorized access and cause damage to a computer or a hardware, right? These are popular ones. The last one is too much in rage today, right? This is social engineering. Sensitive data is picked from several places and they try to extort money or gain some kind of access, take confidential data, or pull down people morally, mentally, and it is kind of a physical and mental attack. It could also be a kind of personal attack on people. So do not use or do not trust any kind of links. Please look into the links. Please look into the mails. Do not do this on WhatsApp or any other social media because this may be a threat for your system, or you may also compromise your personal data to these people. Moving on, when we say all these are summed up into one picture, which is called social engineering attack. So one individual or group of individuals may be targeted, right? There may be one particular target, which, for example, university is one of the target. Whole organization or one individual may be head of the organization. And there is something called as friends, right? People who are associated with you, people who are in authority, they may also be part of this social engineering. You can get a compliance principles using this friendship link or some kind of repository, social validation. All these becomes part of social engineering attack. People may use various techniques like phishing, pretexting, understanding you before they attack. There can be a direct communication with the party on whom the attack is placed, or there may be unidirectional, bidirectional. Unidirectional in the sense you may not be able to respond to their emails. They would have blocked the response from your end. Bidirectional is they'll allow you to respond, but to release the complete data, you may have to pay something. Or they may send some message in an indirect communication and say that if you don't comply to this, your data is already compromised and it will go on a public domain. It may affect you mentally, right? The goal could be a financial gain or having an unauthorized access into the system, or it could also service could be disrupted. For example, somebody attacks on somebody's routers or gateways. There's a complete disruption in the network, right? So their goal is to disrupt the network for some time and then release only after they get a gain. Gain need not always be financial gain. It could be for several other reasons. What is a medium through which you may get this? Email, face-to-face interaction. You may be talked about this. There could be a telephone call. Many a times we get this spam calls, probably thanks to Truecaller. Sometimes we will be able to recognize the spam calls because of the contribution of many people blocking it, spamming, telling that it is a spam call and all of them. There could be some SMS which may prompt you to take up or send an OTP or something like this. You could also get a paper mail. These are old system, but still it is done. There could also be a storage media which is corrupted, right? That could be sent. A pen drive could be sent. A SD card could be sent. Something like that. There could be a web page that is posted to you, or there could be a physical pamphlet, or there could be a digital media which could be sent to you. Now these are all part of social engineering attack, right? And you see, when you see compliance, it is 1 to infinity, and there is no limit. And when you see techniques, there is no limit. It could happen for many people, and all others, if you see, it could be very targeted. And if you look at the goals, these are their basic goals of achieving. Moving on, it is now the focus is shifting on to ethics, right? So I have a very beautiful quote given by Einstein and our Baba Sahib Ambedkar. Right, the first one says, that means a quote from Einstein's book, what I say, life book. I do not believe in immortality of the individual, and I consider ethics to be an exclusively human concern with no superhuman authority behind it. So I think Einstein told it very clearly, ethics to be very exclusively related to human beings, and there is no superhuman authority to do this. But our Bhagavad Gita says there is one superhuman which always brings this kind of thoughts in our mind, and that people may call it as human, people may call it as power, people may call it as force, but there is somebody. You may call it as Rama, Allah, Jesus, anything, right? But there is one no, we call it as human, you call it by whatever name, that tells us to walk in this path. Whereas Ambedkar says, because this is totally very contextual to our history, history shows that where ethics and economics come in conflict, victory is always with economics. Vested interests have never been known to have willingly divested themselves unless there was sufficient force to compel them, right? So when there is a conflict between ethics and economics, people sometimes say that ethics always works, right? It keeps us for longer time, right? All these things we are taught. Our culture has taught this, but it was found that whenever there's a conflict between ethics and economics, money or economics wins, right? And this is a very compelling force, and this could be because of various reasons, right? Both of them are not contradictory statements. It is their belief in ethics, right? That is what Einstein told and what Ambedkar ji told. Both of them, right, have their own ways of putting ethics into picture. This is relevant today, very relevant, right? In cyber world, we need ethics. In cyber world, when people lose ethics, when a person goes out of his ethics, he starts thinking about making money or hurting somebody against ethics. That means unethical principles work over ethical factors. Moving on, we say the word ethics. Let's look into the definition of ethics. The word ethics actually is derived from a Greek word ethos, which means it's a way of living, right? It's more specifically the behavior of individuals in the society. That's what we say. And we say in our Indian system, we say it's ethics, which ethics play a lot in shaping the behavior of individuals in a society. I'm just quoting Indian system because we strongly believe in our books of Bhagavad Gita, which says, yes, ethical way of living, takes you to a state of nirvana, and it is a means of attaining nirvana and seeking God or reaching God. That is how we have been taught in our Indian system, right? So that we can reach supreme power when we behave, when our behavior in the society is very ethical. Right? Ethics examines the rational justification for our moral judgments. It studies what is morally right or wrong, just or unjust. So it's what is right or wrong, what is unjust or unjust. Should I do this or shouldn't I do this? What I have learned out of this, right? That is what ethics is all about. So we have a lot of pain in handling the digital media, and the biggest headache is losing the data. This is part of our digital media. Okay, who is behind all these things? Okay, there could be a person, there could be set of people, there could be a machine which is doing this. And what happens? Data is breached, your whole system gets vulnerable. That means you are attacked onto the system. So make sure that your system is away from these three principles. Keep it locked properly. Like you keep your drawers locked, keep your systems locked, give fingerprint recognition to your mobile phones, lock your house. All of them are part of the system. Don't allow people to enter into your house or into your digital system simply, right? So there should be some mechanism which tells that you are not vulnerable, you are not attacked, your data cannot be breached, right? So we come to this word which is called as hacking, right? What do we say when we say our cyber security system is working behind or if our data is compromised, then we say our systems are hacked. Hacking is an act of identifying and then exploiting weakness in a computer system or a network, usually to gain unauthorized access to personal or organizational data. Hackers use a variety of techniques to achieve their aims, right? Hacking is actually directly not legal because you're having an unauthorized access to their data. It could be personal data, organizational data, group data, it could be something, anything, right? All of them are part of illegal. If you have an authorized access, then you are not a hacker. You don't come into the category of hacking, right? And all of them are towards gaining access to files, stealing personal information, could be debit card, credit card, pins, CVV numbers, photos, right? Personal videos, all of them could be part of this. Hacking actually leads to imprisonment if caught, right? They get caught, but many a times they run away, right? They're not seen, they are masked, right? Most of the common methods of hacking are social engineering, as I've told you even before this. Your passwords are getting hacked, your devices are not functioning properly, maybe because of malware attack, exploiting insecure wireless network, gaining access to insecure network, backdoor entry, backdoor access to your system, spying on somebody's emails, or also finding out what are the strokes which a person gives, just logging your keystrokes, right? Many a times it is found that hacking always refers people when we say hacker, that means they are doing some negative things or they are doing some malicious activity, which is actually leading to cyber crimes. Are there people who are good hackers also? Do we have categories of hackers? And hacking, is it always bad? We'll look into these answers a little later, but I will give a pause. Have you ever been victim of cyber fraud? Please answer this. What do you think are the methods used by hackers to gain access into your system? So these are two self-check questions I'm leaving you all with. Please think about this, and we will talk about this little later. Okay. So what kind of damages can a hacker do? Suppose the question answer to the question which I asked in the self-check activity was yes, then what damage that hacker would have done to your system, right? He could steal your money and open credit card or bank details in your name, destroy the credit card ratings, do this for his personal gains, ask you to update pins, give additional credit cards, make purchase on your behalf, right? In unauthorized entry into the system telling that I am the actual user of this card, obtain cash advances on your cards, right? Use and abuse your Aadhaar number, PAN number, or social security number, or any kind of identification numbers used in respective countries, sell personal information for some malicious purposes, sell your information. We saw the data breach, right? How Aadhaar system, whole personal data was sold, delete or damage files on your computer, important details are stolen or deleted or damaged, or have personal sensitive information taken from you and shared it publicly. And these are the damages hacker can do. Okay, who is a hacker? Is he a person? As I told, hacker could be one person, it could be, there could be a group of people working on this, or like it could also be another computer or a bot, what we say, is a hacker. Hacker is a person who is intensely interested in the mysterious working of any computer's operating system. They're often programmers because they need to know have a deep understanding of programming, how to gain knowledge into operating system, and they should know various programming languages. Importantly, they should be able to find out loopholes into the system. Such person is called as a hacker. So I would rather emphasize here programmers and loophole discoverer, right? That person will be a best suitable person for hacker. Now, are there types of hackers? Yes, as I told, does hacking always means negative? Are there people who are also good hackers? Is it for an authorized system also? Is it for a government organization also? Can an organization hire some kind of hackers? Yes. Now, these 2 or 3 slides, we will be talking about types of hackers, right? The first hacker category is white hat hacker. Now, he is an authorized or certified hacker who works for government organization, whose main job is to identify loopholes in the cybersecurity system. He's a cybersecurity expert, but he is called ethical hacker. He knows what should not go wrong and which is the loophole through which the hacking can happen. Next is a black hat hacker, right, who gains unauthorized access, right, and he is not working for any organization. He has some ulterior motive, right, and he often takes information, or he learns about your system, does some malicious activity into your system and takes vital data. So this kind of hackers are also called as crackers because they crack your personal details. Next comes a gray hat hacker. This category of hacker is actually legally authorized hackers, right? They have both the intentions, good intention, bad intention. They do this kind of activity so that they learn, improve their skills, and it could be for a personal gain, right? So they are not white hat, they are not black hat, they are a combination, right? They use their skills to get some personal information, but they are not completely authorized to do this, and they are not legal to having authority to do this, and they are not authorized to have this, right? So they are gray hat hackers. Next is green hat hackers, and they are amateurs, right? And they are called as amateur hackers, but they are a little bit different from one of the deadliest category of hackers who are called as script kiddies. We'll talk about this next slide, right? Now, green hat hackers are hackers who want to become complete, full-blown hackers, right? They're trying to find out questions, answers, what is the novelty. They are amateur, but trying to explore what hacking is. So that kind of hackers are green hat hackers. They're little dangerous, they're amateur, because in this process, though they may not want to hurt somebody or gain access to anything, but still they may end up doing this kind of a thing. Next is blue hat hackers. They are like your white hat, right? But they are outsourced. It is not the government organization or any organization that is taken, but they are outsourced to other company. And generally, they do it for some kind of promotions, product launch, and all of them, to find out whether there is anybody who is employed to do this kind of hacking business, and it works for larger companies, generally outsourced. Okay, the next one is called red hat. I think you have been seeing all colors here: white, black, gray, green, blue, and red, right? Now, red hat hackers are called eagle-eyed hackers. Like your white hat hackers, red hat hackers also halt the system, right? The major difference is they are ruthless while they are dealing with malware actions and whatever is caused by black hat hackers, right? They'll keep aggressively attacking the system, and the whole system may come to a halt, or it may completely change the system, right? So they're also deadly, and you can know their name as eagle-eyed hackers. That means they have an eye to a particular data, information, or something, a file, or some kind of pins, right? They only target that category and pick it up, right? They become very ruthless when they are doing this, and they may completely destroy the system. Then there are sponsored, nation-sponsored, state-sponsored hackers. They are provided by governmental agencies, right? They're paid for doing this. This is like to find out what kind of danger may come in, right? And similar to activists online, we also have hacktivists. It is a group, right, that works anonymously, that will gain access to government systems, files, or go into social media, or enter into politics, right? Then these people are something like a online activists, something similar to that. Then there's a whistleblower, right? Now he is an insider. One of the biggest problems in whole of this cybersecurity issue is to find out insider, right, and not the problem with the outsider. Outsider, we can detect the outsider using some of the hacking techniques, but this malicious insider, who is also called as whistleblower, who could also be generally a employee of a system, who tries to bring in illegal things, right? Tries to sell some things from the organization, right? And blackmail people or give out secrets about the organization, will become a malicious insider, or is also called as whistleblowers. Now, these are quite dangerous people, right? And it is very difficult to find out malicious insider. The last one is dangerous people, and these are called as script kiddie. They are unskilled people. They don't know. They just try out some tools and they start entering into this hacking, right? They find out some small things. Their purpose is to tell among their friends that I'm also a hacker. I know many things. Generally, this happens with school children. Right? They try out, they see their elder siblings at home, uncles or somebody, and they try out something on their own. Probably they don't know, or they have more curiosity to enter into the system. And this is one of the most dangerous, because it may not come to light, and we may not be able to punish the child. Right? There are some cases where juveniles, that kind of people are sent to juvenile cells, and they're put in behind the bars because of this kind of activity, right? Maybe it is without their knowledge, or they were trying out something, and without their knowledge, they enter into some websites or network, or stole some personal information. It could be also from their own family members, or friends or in their own society. Now, these are dangerous kiddies. These are the categories of hackers. Some are helpful, like we found that not all hackers are wrong, right? Not all hackers are malicious. There are some helpful hacking systems also. With this, we enter onto this ethical hacking. So we will combine ethics, right? That moral, the way of doing with hacking. Can they both go together? Yes. Hacking, as we know, is not a right activity. We have something to gain out of it. Can we do this kind of ethical hacking? Yes. The definition of ethical hacking involves an authorized attempt to gain unauthorized access to a computer system, application, or data. So you will get an authorized way of entering it, and you can carry out this ethical hacking process by doing some kind of actions. Some of this will come only by practice, right? There is nothing like you will start doing hacking, right? Later I'll become ethical hacker. No, it involves authorized attempt. You are making an authorized attempt, but to gain an unauthorized access for some motive, right? There would be such kind of situations, but ethical hackers are required to find out what are the vulnerabilities in our system, right? Would there be a malicious attacker? Is there a small loophole that is available, is not seen by the system? Okay. Are there any kind of ethical hacking? Could we see any kind of hacking, right? There could be different kinds of hacking. One of them is ethical hacking. There is website hacking, as I've already told. Email is hacked, network gets hacked. Password hacking is one of the common, most simplest method of doing. There's also computer hacking. But ethical hacking is the one which helps you to find out the weakness in the system. That is, it is to find and test your system and finally say that, yes, I have fixed it, right? Something like this will be done by an ethical hacker. Moving on. Ethical hacking is an act of detecting vulnerability, as I told you. So companies hire ethical hackers to discover what is a problem in their system, how to protect, are there any external threats, are there any loopholes. Ethical hackers also use the same techniques, strategies as a normal hacker, but they are having permission. They do it legally. Permission is granted by an organization or an employee who employs them, right? And they give an authorized access into the system. So ethical hackers are legally allowed to do this, but with a permission. Okay. The overall process of ethical hacking will be determine the hacking objectives. Find out for what I'm going to do this. Collect the information for hacking operations. To find out the loopholes, to achieve the objectives, what kind of hacking operations are required. Access the computer, access the system, access the application, access the device is next one. Then find out which place there was this loophole, document it, review it, and do this in a iterative fashion, right? Once again, go back, review the objective. Did I find out what the objectives were? Did I achieve? Did I get into first objective? Was the information enough? Was this part of the computer, access to this part of the computer enough or not? Do I need some more access, right? For example, for a mobile device, whenever we download an app, it asks for location, right? It asks for location access, storage access. It could also be a camera access. We give access to the system, right? To the application which we have installed, right? So in that case, we ourselves have given the consent to do this, right? So ethical hacker has to actually determine which permission allowed this kind of made an entry for this illegal entry for the system, right? So he has to engage in this, document it, review, then go back. He has to do that until and unless the objectives are not met. And the organization agrees that these are the objectives and the ethical hacker have found the right solution to do this, right? And that means he exposes the loopholes into the system. So this is an overall process of ethical hacking. Okay, now we see what are the code of ethics, right? So the code of ethics says, in case you want to protect yourself from this kind of attacks, right? Or go away from the cyber attacks, keep private and confidential information about your professional work, personal work, no, very personal, right? Do not allow anybody to enter into the system. Keep it private. Do not collect, give, sell, or transfer any personal information with third party without client prior consent. For example, I was talking about the hospital system, right? You go talk to a doctor about your ailment, and he suggests you to go to pathological laboratory. He gives you what are the tests to undergo. There he writes your name, your phone number, your vital details, maybe BP monitored readings and all of them. And now that is moved to pathological laboratory. That is identity, right? Now somebody else calls that you had gone to a pathological laboratory and this was their test that was suggested by the doctor. We could do at this particular cost. Kindly share your details. Do not do that. Do not give the personal information. Hold the call and say, I'll get back to you. That's a simplest answer, which is to be told, can be told. Don't give any pins, don't pass any OTPs, do not necessarily open any email address, do not transfer this or forward an email to somebody else. Protect your IPs. That is very important, right? If you are the originator of intellectual property, copyrights, it could be like a song, art, some new inventions, do not send it to anybody, right? Protect all those IPs, go to the right people to find out how could we log this IPs. Disclose to appropriate persons or authorities potential dangers to any e-commerce client. Don't do that, right? There's a lot of things that is available. Use your electronic transactions properly, right? Don't simply disclose it to any appropriate people. Use only to the right person. Provide service in your areas of competence, being honest. As we told, this is ethics. So be honest, right? Understand your limitations. Don't go beyond that. Ensure that you know things properly. This is specifically for students, right? Whenever you're doing your project reports, right? Find out what are you competent in. For example, you're developing an application, right? There's an UI designer, there's a backend database designer, there's a server maintenance person, right? There's a deployment person, right, in your team, right? Give honest thought on all these things, right? Ensure your project works smoothly. Let there be a good coordination. Do not sell your information to others, right? Don't do any unethical activity. Copy the code from Google, go to different sources and do this, right? Get good education, get good training, get good guidance from your mentors and follow the right path. That itself will stop you from going or entering into unethical activities. Never unknowingly use software or process which is got illegally, unethically, cracked version and all of them. Not to engage in deceptive financial practices like bribery, double billing, right? This is generally done in financial sectors. Use the property of the client or employer only in the ways properly authorized with the owner's knowledge and consent. Use owner's knowledge, take their consent, then only use some of the items of their property, right? Don't unauthorizedly enter into the system. Disclose to all the concerned parties those conflict of interest. If there is any conflict of interest, generally, once again, students do this when they join first time they join a job, right? They may be a freelancer, he may be doing some kind of freelancing task, but that may conflict with his organizational task. So be concerned about this. If there is any conflict of interest, stop it. Find out what is a conflict of interest, get the clarity, then go ahead, right? Add knowledge to the e-commerce system. Constantly understand the system, find out what is necessary, what is not necessary, what should go into public domain, what should not go. Use as far as possible, use ethical conduct, be professional, right, in most of the work, and shun prejudice. Don't have a preconceived thoughts about something, right? Don't compromise anything on your personal front, neither from your organization. Ensure that the system is with the legal limits and don't do anything illegal into the system. So in hostels, it is generally observed that students use college network to enter into dark, right? That is not your zone. Probably your Wi-Fi system was not secure and you started entering it. So that starts attracting you. So do not do this. Let's have ensure that, right, we do not cross legal limits. Don't be part of any kind of hacking community until unless it's a legal hacking environment, right? Do not make any inappropriate references. Some people may do something to boost their certificates or add marks or logos or put something as their own publications or their own IPs or take bribe somebody or take speeches, documents, collect it from somebody, pose it as their own content. No, do not go into this. Not convicted in any felony or violated any law of land. Go respect the law of that particular land and abide by it. Now, these are the code of conducts, right, that is required in digital world or also normally for a good existence with an ethical value. These are some of the things that are very much essential. People say it is very difficult to follow ethics in life. The process is quite easy. Identify your situation, identify the issue, analyze the issue, arrive at a suitable solution ethically, act ethically. Right? Take all these solutions, think what is ethical, then act ethically. So identify, analyze, think about it, what is the probable solution for this, could be set of solutions, but always act ethically. I would end my talk telling that these three are most important things for any system. It could be physical world or it could be digital. So these are the credits which I gave for the references, right? Whatever data I've taken, whatever information I've shared through this presentation, this is the place I have gone to. And thank you so much for your time. Sanjana ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was an amazing, amazing presentation. And I think, ma'am, you have got all the, people engaged in this particular presentation.
Okay.
So, because we have a lot of questions.
There was a question on information gathering, right? So I'm not clear exactly. How do we gather information? Or is it?
Yes, I think just 1 minute. Sorry. Yes, there was, I think it was not a question. It was given at a time when you had asked a question, ma'am.
Okay. Fine. Okay, fine.
That was something that was asked when you were, Suzanne, I think she's not with us right now.
Okay, fine. Okay, the next one is...
We have a question. This is an anonymous attendee. How can we teach ethics to kids who find it fun to do unethical stuff?
Right.
Maybe a parent.
That is where this kiddies come into picture, right? So they are most dangerous. Okay, as a mother myself, we will allow them to do little bit of unethical stuff. Definitely. Some without our knowledge or with knowledge. It is like, okay, let me give an analogy. They start learning driving a cycle. Allow them to fall is perfectly fine, right? First time they fall. Tell that the child learns by its mistake. Very good to learn by mistake, right? There should be some amount of fun. You don't leave child unattended. Let it do, but have an attention on the child and say, if you enter this area, then it is wrong. Don't do unethical things, right? So allow it to go to some level, set the boundary and then bring it back and teach the child, right? This is not ethical way of doing it, is my answer to this question.
I think that's a very valid point, ma'am. There is another question: how to teach empathy and maturity to young adults and tech geeks?
Actually tough. It is tough to teach. I know empathy is something which should be learned over experience. It is tough to teach, but our system, our culture should imbibe that into a child, right? Specifically tech geeks, right? They always have this thought that I should do something which impresses people, right? That is how they go, right? It is tough. Once again, they have to be under the mentorship of somebody, right? To guide them, tell them this is right and this is wrong, right? We have many examples in our education system where people say, "Ma'am, I'll try this." I can quote one example on my personal ground, right? We were doing one experiment with, this is for an agricultural field, right? And it was found that we cannot fly the drone in an area which is conflicting with the other media, right? So there are some licensed bands and there are some unlicensed bands. So these students were very curious. Let's say young adults, tech geeks, and all of them, they were the ones who designed the drone and they had programmed it, right? So we told them that this is not the area where you should be flying the drone, right? But they did try to do that, and we had to bring it down and tell them this is the reason you're not supposed to do. You can do this kind of experiment only when we get an concurrence from DGCA, which gives permission for drone flying, right? And something which is done in academic environment may bring in lot of laurels to you if it is working properly, and you also do in an ethical environment, may also put you behind bars, right? Same project may take you outside the system, right? And they did understand. They were curious to do, and they had to do that experiments in our grass area in the college, not in an agricultural field where they were not allowed to use. Yes, you have to bring in that maturity. We'll have to explain to them in detail. Okay, norms help create an ethical cybersecurity culture. Yes, norms only will create. That is the answer. Yes, norms only will create. Set the norms, then only it does.
Ma'am, also, I think this is also coming from a European perspective that because today there's a lot of discussion that is going on in the area of cyber norms, especially in United Nations and various international organizations. So how can norms help create absolutely. I think I think academia, especially engineering colleges and all, now should start voicing out, because I feel that in many of the policy recommendation forums, whether it is national policy or it is international policy, a lot of cybersecurity norm building and all is happening only through lawyers and people who are in the policy sector. But cybersecurity is a very technical field. So actually, in practice, people who are there in cybersecurity, they are not able to really relate to what the policy and the lawyers are actually thinking.
Correct. There's a gap, but still we need to form a norm. Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. So I think that's where, yes, definitely norms can help. Yeah.
So next question is quite interesting, right?
It's a very good idea. Yes, absolutely. I want to know who is this who has asked this question. This is really nice. Can similar oath like Hippocratic oath be made for engineers? What do you think, ma'am?
Yes. Can be done. Can also be broken. Hackers do that, right? They take the oath, right, to break into the system.
But ma'am, like as an engineer, we didn't take any oath.
Yes, you didn't take, no. Right. Does the civil engineer takes an oath that any building he builds will long last forever? No, no, even Hippocratic oath which is taken tells that, right, he will try his best to protect the life, right? So can be done, but it is left to the individuals to implement it.
But I think, ma'am, this should go to the engineering college. That
I am sure it should go. It should go to
yeah,
engineering.
we must have an oath because this is also about protecting lives today.
Yes. Computer science students also protect life. Computer engineers also protect life.
We have a critical infrastructure, ma'am.
Yeah.
War happening. Yeah.
Correct.
It's a very nice idea. I really thank anyone.
The questioner.
Yeah, the questioner. Really, this is amazing. A lot of
Ah.
questions now coming up again. Okay. There is how can educators teach ethics when it is not a part of the syllabus and they don't believe in principles that they preach? How can we practice? Do we need a campus police to impose ethics?
Ma'am, I would appreciate the question of Arhan Roy, right? I'm also part of engineering college, right? Yes, ethics is not part of syllabus. As part of autonomous, we do have ethics for engineers, right? We have a subject which is called ethics for engineers, but we have brought in some kind of wellness programs for students, right? Which will keep them calm, right? Yoga, meditation, all of these are part of their system. I know initially people will say, you have to sit for yoga. You won't believe, ma'am, last time, 2020, 21 and 22 batch, all of them had induction programs, right? Where yoga session began at 6 o'clock in the morning. My son was also attending that. And first day he said, I'm not going to attend. Though he's an early waker, he says, this is quite boring to me. Then that day, there were only 2 attendees, first day, right? Second day, there were 6 or 7. And on the 5th day, whole class was there. It spread like that, right? And during that COVID period, they're always with online classes, right? They understood that significance on the 5th day. It started on Monday, and by Friday, whole class. You could see everybody sitting with their yoga mats in their class with their mobile phones. So there could be some kind of things that can be brought in to the system, and we will have to start preaching. We'll have to start following. That means faculties also start joining. We have this wellness program, which is given to housekeeping staff, non-teaching staff, teaching staff, and students. So all of them are part of this program. Yes, ma'am, it should be implemented, but police to impose ethical lacking, no. That's a tough thing to answer.
Absolutely, that's a very tough thing. Okay, the next question is, although ethical hacking is a very common thing nowadays, ethical dilemma becomes common. Any suggestions how to handle it?
We've already told what is unethical. So the dilemma should go away, right? So don't burn your hand. When you know this is, find out what is unethical in that system. That means you're slightly going away. Right? Whenever you have this dilemmas, think about ethics. Right? If I do this, does it cause any harm? Right? In that case, yes, it should be handled in that. Hope I have answered all the questions. It was satisfactory too.
I think all the questions have been answered. There were 7 questions. We have.
Yes.
It was that was a really nice thing. We have a very active audience here.
I know.
Until we get another question coming up from the audience, ma'am, I would like to ask a few questions that were given by some of our students and all from.
Yes.
So there is one question that is, so one person asks that today, in the engineering colleges, there are also reports of paper leaks that happened.
Yes.
And the way it is handled, nothing happens, no action gets taken after that. So that's that. So in practice, there is no imposition of any kind
Law.
of law
Uh,
or policy. Uh, Ethics fail, and so how do we really? Yeah, that's absolutely there. Like, how do we really take into consideration the importance of ethical hacking?
yes, yes, very relevant, right? This happened in Karnataka. POC papers were leaked. I think this is very relevant question. Most of the university system has this, right? So once you talk about a university system, it's more of people who are involved. There are question paper setters. If I talk about openly about the exam systems, there are question paper setters. Question paper comes out. The first place of leaking is if I am the question paper setter, if I leave the trace on my table, then that is a first leak. Let's not blame only university. This is what is my thought, right? So I leave a trace. Then I say I have to take a copy of it. Maybe I have to write a scheme. I go to a Xerox center, right? And he pass this information there. If a copy is left there, if it is already got scanned, right? I leave a trace in that place, right? Before posting, I do that. Probably we generally post all these question papers or drop ourselves. If we post it, we use courier system, right? That's another place where it may go into, right? So it goes through several processes, several places where there are chances of being leaked, right? It may come, it may happen, right? Now you avoid all of them. You avoid all of them, have a digital system, have a good authentication mechanism, good a protection mechanism, right? And then make this work, right? Otherwise, it may not happen. I should not leave trace. If I am the question paper setter, I should stop having this trace. I should not have a copy, neither a physical copy nor a digital copy of this. It should directly go to vice chancellor, something like this. And vice chancellor system has to be completely secure. Till then, right, this won't help. It has to go through all these things. We have found this. We have found this actually.
These are basically procedures and things that
Yes.
be imposed.
Actually,
Absolutely.
very strict procedures are followed now. They are followed. We
Yeah.
don't. We are no longer writing in it CDs. We are not doing any handwritten contents, right? We directly send it to the universities, right? So do not leave any trace. Is very important point there.
That's absolutely there, ma'am. We have an open question, but there is one more question from the student. I would just like to ask that. So somebody asked that this is a very nice question. So hackers of the past are now CISOs of big companies. So how is even ethical hacking? How can we even understand that we should not do anything unethical when people have done unethical stuff and are now leading cybersecurity companies and are CISOs? So very valid question, ma'am.
They understood the loopholes.
Yeah.
They understood the loopholes. They found that yes, this is the loophole. I have to close this. Right? They have understood the trade. That is what. That is why they are there. Right? And they've also found that yes, that was unethical. I can teach people that these are unethical. Somebody asked question, right? Teach how to teach kids, right, to be ethical in when they're unethical. Small things, right? The people, those who were hackers who did unethical stuff, have understood the loopholes. That is why they have come there.
Correct.
Right? They have understood. And then they're making their next level understand that don't do this. We have a business here. Right?
That's very nice answer, ma'am. That's actually the truth. There is one more question that is coming up. That is, in so many cases, ethical hacking can also be occurred unethically or forcefully. Can it be really be considered ethical?
Occurred forcefully. No. If it is done forcefully, it cannot be ethical. No.
Exactly. Then it cannot be considered
as ethical.
It's completely unethical.
Yeah, you are blackmailing somebody, right?
Yeah.
Gunpoint kind of a thing.
Absolutely. So I think this was an amazing discussion that we have had, and a lot of clarity in terms of what is ethics, and in fact, to practice some good ideas also coming up there. So I was really like to thank the attendees for such amazing ideas and amazing questions. I think this was really interactive and amazing insight, ma'am, with what we have learned from you today in ethical hacking and the concepts and principles of ethics. I really hope that this kind of message goes out to the community and to all the engineers, and they benefit from this particular course. And I think it's been a pleasure for us to have this interactive session and this presentation from you, ma'am. Thank you so much for giving us the insight. If you would like to say something
Yeah,
about.
thanks for the opportunity. And as you told, questions were really they're very relevant, right? They were immersed, right? I would definitely want to talk to them. They can write to me on my email address, right, for some more inputs on this. I'm happy that I have been part of this Cyber Diplomat lecture series, right? Thanks for the opportunity, Sanjana. That was really
It's a
kind
pleasure
of
for
you.
us, ma'am. It's really a pleasure and an honor to have
Yeah,
you.
this was a very small bit of information, which knowledge I shared with all of you. Hope it helps people. Let's keep our flags of ethics high.
Absolutely. It is something which is required, and it
Yeah.
requires to be taught, because I don't think in any course they give so much of emphasis on ethics.
Ethics.
Ethics and ethical principles and what they are, and getting so much of insight. I think the last session, the panel round, really helped us. The question answer round also helped us gain a bit of clarity on this particular subject in terms of practice. And ma'am, many insights that you shared with us, I think it needs to be considered very seriously for especially cybersecurity, people who are teaching cybersecurity,
Yes,
and
yes,
it needs to be implemented on the various in various center for excellence and other the other universities that we are having.
exactly, exactly. Yes, very true, very true.
Absolutely. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Thank you to the attendees for joining, and I will end this particular lecture over here. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye.
I'll